What's up, man? Let me guess. You want to get fit, you want to get healthy, you want to feel strong and confident in your body, but you don't want to overcomplicate the process because you might have a full-time job, you might be low on time during the week, and you just want to get a realistic plan for your health and fitness that works for you right now to get in really good shape or help you get back to your best, and it'll still work for you in 5, 10, 15 years time. Because I'm going to say, if you're watching this video, you want to get fit and healthy and be strong in your 30s, your late 20s, but then also in your 50s. Like, I personally want to be that guy who's running around with his kids, dominating them in any sport until into my 50s. And this is how we're going to make that happen. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 3 key pillars that you need for your realistic health routine. I'll give you actionable insights on what you can put into practice today, and a few little freebies in there just to help you with the nutrition side of things, the sleep side of things. But first, coffee, coconut water. This is a game changer. Get your electrolytes and your caffeine all in one. Now, when you scroll at any point in time on social media, you will come across information about everything. Fasted cardio, what peptides do you need? What training split do you need to do? What's your meal prep like? You have a full-time job, what testosterone supplements do you need? It is a minefield out there, and there is that much information. A lot of it you do not need to worry about though. So I want to break down in this video exactly where you should focus your attention first and foremost, because there are pillars to this stuff. There's like stages and tiers that you will go through, and the foundations is number 1. But a lot of this stuff that you find online is like stage 2, stage 3. When you really start to, I hate the word, but optimize, that's when you can look at this. But if you don't have any of the fundamentals, then you've got no house to build this into, okay? First thing we're gonna focus on, it's gonna be movement. Now, 10,000 steps is a big number to think about, but for a lot of people, it can go a long way when it comes to weight loss, mental health, just feeling like clear and energizing your day, especially going for like a walk after work. So 10,000 steps as best as you can. And to just drive this point home even further, this graph here there was a study of like 125,000 people, and they did a study on daily step count and risk of dying from anything. And 10,000 was a sweet number. As soon as you started to hit 10,000, that number started to level out and you started to not die as much. You were healthier. So if you're hitting like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 right now, don't set yourself the task of going and trying to smash 10, 12,000 every single day, because if it's not part of your routine currently, it might seem like too much of a jump. Add an extra 1,000. Week after, add another 1,000. Just make sure it is consistent before you then layer in the next sort of tier, like I spoke about before. So that's when it comes to step count. Get your steps. But the way that you can make this happen, rather than looking at 10,000 as just this magic number that you've got to hit and you've got to go for like an hour-long walk just to make it happen every day, break it up. Movement snacks. Break it up throughout the day so that you can go for a 10-minute walk after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's half an hour. And I like to think of it as 10 minutes is about 1,000 steps. So as long as you've got like, the average person takes 5,000 steps just going about their daily business, going to the bathroom, walking around the office at work, going to and from their car, whatever. About 5,000 steps the average person will take. So you just need 5 10-minute blocks throughout your day to hit that 10,000. I think that's pretty doable for a lot of people. Now, if you're going for a 10-minute walk after breakfast, lunch, and dinner, not only is it going to help with digestion massively, it'll help with your energy, it'll help with that post-meal crash, but it's easy steps. And going for a longer walk after lunch, especially if you're working an office job, going for a longer walk after lunch, I think is one of the best things you can do, is to come back and just be like locked in with energy and focus, and really separating your day into 2 halves, as opposed to this. Like, think about, the soccer's on right now. Think about the soccer, they've got a halftime break. They go in, they recover, they rest. Now, if you're just going from cubicle to the lunchroom, back to cubicle, like, you're not really giving yourself a halftime break where you can recharge. So get outside, go for a 20-minute walk, and I think it's the best way of going about getting these movement snacks in and hitting that 10,000 steps. Now, also, check your screen time before you start to complain about not having time to get these steps in. If your screen time is sitting like at 4 or 5 hours a day, cut an hour out and make sure you can go for that walk. Now, another little hack for the office, if you're working in an office, if you've got meetings, go for a walk for those meetings. Get outside, do that meeting outside for a walk, and I guarantee you'll get those steps up easily. Now, you can make the most of any opportunity. Got 5 minutes before a meeting, walk around the office. Got 10 minutes between meetings at a cafe, go outside, go for another walk, come back in. Like you can make it happen. I guarantee it, as long as it is like front of mind for you. So get those movement snacks in. Now the Fit in 4 framework. This is the gym side of stuff and keeping us fit and healthy and active in less than 4 hours a week. So how I like to frame this for a lot of the guys that I work with is, if we've got 4 days of the week that we want to go to and train, or we want to get fit in 4 hours a week, I think the best way of splitting this is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You're going to use those 3 days as full body workouts. So you're going to hit full body Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you get a rest day in between, which is perfect. It's just going to help with recovery. But you're going to hit a full body session. Could be 45 minutes, could be 60 minutes, doesn't matter. But you're hitting everything multiple times in the week. That is great. And it just means you're consistent, that if you hit 2, it doesn't matter. Okay? 2 to 3 like this is perfect. But then what's really going to make and break this, rather than just sticking to the gym stuff, on a weekend, so Sat or Sun, that's when you're going to go, and I think this is the best thing that you can start to get into your routine. You're going to go to a HIIT class. Find a gym nearby that's got a HIIT class that they do, like a community-based HIIT class that they do on a Saturday or a Sunday. And that is your Fit in 4 framework, okay? Training, sorted, and then heart rate up sort of stuff on a Saturday. Personally, I find it hard to go to a gym setting and fire myself up to go and do like battle ropes into sled pushes, into burpees. Like, I can't do that for myself. No one wants to go into a gym and do that by themselves. But if you've got someone else telling you to do it and you pay them to do it, $30 for a class, whatever it might be, that's a great way to spend your week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're going to go in and you're going to do a full body. Then on Saturday, you're going to go and do a HIIT class. That is the perfect way to structure your week if you feel like you're low on time. Now, if those full body sessions are 45 minutes and that class on a Saturday is 45 minutes to an hour, less than 4 hours a week to get in really good shape, and then just make sure you're getting your steps outside of that, and you're golden. You've got everything you need right there. So that is how I would structure the movement side of things. 10,000 steps, and then just following that Fit in 4 framework. Cool. Nutrition. Biggest thing that guys struggle with here is knowing how to structure their plate. So my golden rule for structuring any plate, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, is going to be protein and produce. Get some good quality protein in there. Chicken, fish, red meat, like beef mince and rice with some veggies chopped through it. Perfect. Lots of eggs, especially with breakfast and stuff. Protein and produce. That's how you should just look at every plate, especially when you also go out for breakfast or go out for lunch or dinner. Look at what you're buying. Does it have protein? Does it have produce? Is it ticking that box? And like, be realistic. 90% of the time, if you're doing that, you're in a very good spot. 50 grams of protein with each meal. This is just a good way of framing your protein intake for the day. Like, if we're training and we want to build muscle and we want to still lose fat, we need to retain that muscle so our body looks good. So aiming for 50 grams of protein each meal is just a surefire way to do that. Now, a lot of guys get it wrong when it comes to breakfast, is that they walk out the door having a piece of toast. And it's like, dude, like, you're missing the biggest opportunity first thing in the morning. Protein's going to keep you full. It's going to keep you satiated. It's going to stop you from snacking and grabbing the muesli bars in the office at 10:30 in the morning. I think big breakfast, focus on the protein, get it in. It's going to keep you full. It's going to keep you satiated. And it's just the best way to start your day. Like, everyone enjoys a weekend breakfast where they go out to a cafe and they scramble up some eggs and they put some sourdough toast with some avocado. They do that for themselves on the weekend. Why can't you do that for yourself Monday to Friday? Sure, it might take a little bit of extra time, but if you pre-plan that stuff, maybe you boil some eggs the night before, you've got a big tub of like beef mince and you've pre-cooked, every morning just slap it together. Man, easy stuff. You can meal prep some burritos doing that. Like, dude, it can be simple. And in the description down below, I've got a no-nonsense nutrition guide that breaks down how you can structure this stuff, what to look for in meals, what 50 grams of protein looks like in a meal. So you can grab that below, that's down in the description. So protein and produce, trying to get 50 grams per meal. And then if you're looking at weight loss v muscle gain, the main thing here, when it comes to weight loss, like, you will need to learn how to be hungry from time to time, because I heard someone say this the other day. I said, your body being hungry is like, that's it burning away at the body fat. And I think it's just something to know, that you don't always need to be satisfying that craving of hunger. Now, if you're eating good quality meals with good quality whole foods, good quality protein, You're going to lose weight because you're not going to be hungry because those foods are going to keep you satiated. But knowing that a little bit of hunger is actually helping your goals, if weight loss is the goal, buy into it. Let it happen. As long as you're still fueling yourself properly, getting enough food quality in and looking after your protein, I guarantee you will be good. So when it comes to the weight loss side of things, learn to be hungry, okay? It might be a harsh reality that you need to face. Snacking is also something we want to just try and cut out completely. Have your breakfast, have your lunch, have your dinner. If you're normally someone who snacks after dinner and you want that sweet treat, you want that dessert, I'm telling you, man, if you want to lose weight, those are the things to look out for. They sneak up on you. Same with like coffee and getting like milk in your coffee. That sort of stuff adds up quickly. Like I don't try to drastically obsess over my calories. I don't track any of them really, ever. But the little things that can sneak up, like milk in your coffee. Actually, here's a good one for you. Milk, if you changed nothing else in your diet and you had 2 coffees per day and you took out the milk from those 2 coffees and you had 2 long blacks instead of 2 like milk lattes, and you upped your step count from 8,000 to 10,000, and you swapped your meat from like your beef mince, say you had beef mince 5 times a week, and you swapped that from regular beef mince to extra lean beef mince. And if you just did that, and that was it, over the course of a year, you could lose 10 kilos. I think it was like 10 to 13 kilos if that was the only changes that you made. So that's just how important these little sneaky changes and sneaky calories can be. So that's when it comes to the weight loss side of things. But muscle gain, most important thing here, man, that protein, making sure we're getting that in, and then looking after our sleep, which I'll get to in a second. But the muscle gain side of things, that's when you can have your normal meals, and that's when the snacks can actually come in your favor. If you're trying to bulk up just a bit and you're trying to build that muscle and get a bit more size on your frame, that's where I would make sure you got your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then maybe here is like a good quality snack, okay? Maybe here is another good quality snack. And that's how you're just gonna make sure you're getting like that extra, like, once again, don't like obsessing over calories, but 200 to 400 calories just extra into your routine per day over the course of time. That'll add up. And if you're training hard enough and you're sleeping well, that is going to turn into some solid muscle for you if that is the big goal. Now, for a lot of guys, when it comes to the nutrition side of things, just keep it realistic. Don't go fucking balls to the wall. 90% of the time, start with 80 and then eventually, man, that'll become 90. But 90% of the time, don't obsess over this. Once again, this is all about being realistic with your routine, okay? 50 grams of protein every single meal, protein and produce, good quality veg. Don't overcomplicate it. Learn that if you're trying to lose weight, you might need to be a little bit hungry, and there's some guides below that you can grab in the description just to help with that. Sleep and energy. Let me know if that's making sense, man. Let me know in the comments if the protein stuff's making sense and the movement side of stuff is making sense. But sleep and energy. Body clock. This is going to be your number one best friend because your circadian rhythm governs everything in your body when it comes to how you show up every single day, what hormonal change, like things are happening from sunrise to sunset, because there's a sequence to that, where your energy is going to be like, how well you're going to sleep, when your melatonin releases. And this, if you haven't heard of this sort of stuff before, circadian rhythm, body clock, the best way of thinking about it is how did we evolve from 10,000 years ago? And we didn't have all these lights and we didn't stay indoors. Like, we got up around sunrise and we went to bed around sunset because we had no other option. It was just what we did. We were outside during the day, majority of the day, and then we went to bed, just after sunset because it was dark. We couldn't do anything else. So this is a diagram here of our circadian rhythm. Now, when we wake up, let's say 6 a.m.-ish, the first thing we want to do is get some sunlight into our eyes, because that's going to tell our body what time of day it is. So our eye goes directly into our brain, and this governs everything that happens in terms of energy, sleep, performance, focus. Now, if we're not getting that signal because we're going to stay indoors all morning, we're going to flick on the artificial lights in our house and watch the TV and watch the news first thing, that's just going to set us back and set us up really poorly. Grabbing this first thing in the morning, that's going to set us up really poorly to start the day. So what's going to happen is cortisol is naturally going to peak up. And then at noon, when it's like the middle of the day, that's like our body needs to know what time of day it is. So trying to get outside at certain points of time during the day just to help align your body clock is going to be great. Then as we start to come down into night, also cool to know, 5 p.m. is like your peak muscle strength. Knowing that if you've got all this sort of stuff right, 5 p.m. is going to be your peak muscle strength if you're training after work. Now, when it gets to 6 p.m., our body needs to know that it's time to wind down. If the first thing we're doing when we get home is, and the sun's gone down, is flicking on all the house lights and it's watching TV and getting all this artificial light into our eyes, it doesn't know what time of day it is. Our body is going to think it's the middle of the day and it's wondering why we're trying to go to bed at 9 p.m. when we think it's bedtime, but our brain still thinks it's midday because we've got all the house lights on. Just something to think about. So start to wind down properly. Your body's going to go through its normal processes of releasing melatonin. It's going to help with your deepest stages of sleep. So then you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to feel refreshed. So that's a little overview of body clock, circadian rhythm stuff. But just golden rule is, if it is dark outside, try and be dark inside. And then throughout the day, just give your body little anchor points through the eyes to know what time of day it is. That's just going to help massively when it comes to sleep and energy. So when we talk about working indoors, the best thing you can do is, when you are in the office, once again, this ties back into walking, but if you've got the opportunity to go outside and go do a block walk once every couple of hours, not only will that help with the step count, but it'll help your body know what time of day it is so it can stay energized throughout the day when the sun is up, and then it knows that once the sun starts to go down, it's time to wind down and get into our nightly processes. Now, when it comes to winding down at night, let's be realistic once again. Sometimes we can't do everything perfect and we have to go to the gym after work and our body's like a bit hyped up and it's dark outside. It's just part of living. Do not stress. This is not going to be too complicated. Winding down at night, there's a few things that I recommend you do. One's going to be get a pair of blue blockers, purely because it's the cheapest investment you can make in your health long term, is a pair of those red blue blockers, because that will just tell your body, it'll help your body when you are looking at screens, it'll help your body just block out all of the artificial light that tells your body it's the middle of the day. So that's one of the best things you can do, is for your wind down routine. Aside from that, learn how to do some breathing practices, learn how to do like a little stretch routine as you're watching Netflix, watch on the couch, and just go to bed at an appropriate time. That, I think, without overcomplicating it, is the best stuff that you can look at when it comes to your sleep and energy. This has been a game changer for me. As soon as I started to get outside more, like I'm recording this outside now, so my body knows what time of day it is. Now, getting up at the sunrise, best thing I've started doing for my health. Getting outside, going for a walk first thing. And then when it gets to dark, like at night, I've changed a few light bulbs in my house to be red and not those like bright LED lights. And then I wear a pair of blue blockers as soon as like the sun starts to go down and I'm trying to wind down at night. Yes, I'm still on TVs. Yes, I'm still like doing some work on my computer. That is fine, because I'm just doing as much as I can to mitigate the damage that the artificial light can do. So just be realistic. You don't need to do these crazy routines. Just get yourself a pair of blue blockers and just be aware. Awareness is going to be key. That covers us for like the sleep side of stuff and the energy stuff, because that's like the biggest needle movers for you. So there's your movement, there's your nutrition, and there's your sleep and energy. So what does an example, realistic routine look like for a busy guy who just wants to feel good, who just wants to look good? Training, full body 3 times per week. Like simple stuff, achievable for most people. If you hit 2, doesn't matter, because they're full body, which means that you're still going to hit those muscle groups multiple times in the week, which is great. Walking for 15 minutes after each meal. Easy way just to make sure you're going to hit your 10,000 steps. Don't think about it as his 10,000 number. Think about it as just 15 minutes after every single meal. And then HIIT class or a run or some sprints on a Saturday. Get that heart rate up. Do the stuff that you might struggle to do in a gym setting if you just want to get that heart rate elevated and sweat a bit more. So HIIT class on a Saturday, I think is great. That is movement. That is literally all you need to do for your weekly movement. Train in the gym, walk after your meals, get your heart rate up on a Saturday. Nutrition, 50 grams of protein every single meal. Just keep it simple. Just 50 grams of protein every single meal. Make that like your non-negotiable when it comes to breakfast specifically. Do not fall behind. No nonsense nutrition. That guide is linked below. Go through, grab that, steal everything I've got there, And then limit snacking as much as possible if weight loss is the goal. That's going to be, like, I like to think of snacking as like your trigger for if you're trying to maintain and build some muscle and put on some size, a bit more weight. Snacking is like your go-to. But then if you're trying to lose weight, just cut out the snacking completely, okay? Make sure your meals are high quality so they keep you full, cut out the snacking completely. And then when it comes to sleep and energy, align with nature as much as possible. Get your sunlight into your eyes first thing to set your body clock, and then might try and just keep things dark at night. If it's dark outside, it should be pretty dark inside. Blue blockers at night, and a big one, if you're watching TV, sitting on the couch, go on the floor, do some stretches. Find a 10-minute stretch routine that you can just do while you're watching Netflix, sitting on the floor. I guarantee that's one of the easiest things that you can do for your body to make sure you've got that longevity. You don't wake up like stiff and sore all the time. An easy, like, habit stack this stuff, an easy one you can do there. And then left, right, good night journal technique. Get yourself a diary, go to Officeworks, get yourself a diary or something. And what you can do to unpack and unwind your mind from your day, because a lot of us don't do that. We just let the day happen and it just ruminates in there overnight, and wake up the next morning and we're like, fuck, things are just scrambled. So every night before you go to bed, you're gonna get a journal. Left side of the page is going to be everything, like your brain dump from the day. And then your right side of the page is going to be your to-do list for the next day. So unpack and then plan. That's a way of looking at it, and then go to bed. Left, right, good night. And then bed at the same time, up at the same time. This is just a big one for sleep. It's called sleep consistency. And there's a lot of studies that show that this alone is a bigger determinant factor of your overall health than the quality of the hours that you get. So if you're going to bed at around the same time, you're getting up at around the same time, but you're getting 6 hours of sleep, that might be better for you than getting a regular 8 hours where you go to bed and wake up at different times. That's what the studies are showing. So something to note. Go to bed at the same time, up at the same time, including weekends. All right, man, that covers us. And to sort of frame this as a simple takeaway for you right now, this is what I call the big boy 5. There's a lot of little boys out there who can't stick to stuff consistently because they're getting confused by all the little shiny bits and pieces, and I need these runners, and I need that red light therapy, and I need to do a high rocks now, and I need to do this fucking whatever. This is what the big boys can do consistently, long term, for the next 5, 10, 15 years, so they can stay consistent with their health and they're not stopping and restarting. Training full body 3 times a week, simple. 10,000 steps per day, simple. 50 grams of protein per meal, simple. 8 hours of sleep, focusing on sleep consistency, and then drinking you 3 liters of water. If you just did that for the next 6 months, I guarantee it, dude, you would be in incredible shape, because you would not get confused by everything else, because after a month of doing this, you'll know this is the way forward. And if you start to get confused with anything else, come back to this, because this is the basic stuff that works now and long term. I like to say, if you can't see yourself doing it for the next 5 years, let's not do it for the next 5 weeks. Focus on stuff that you can do now and in 5 years' time, and just get really, really good at that. All right, dude, went through a lot there, but that no nonsense nutrition guide is linked below. You can grab that, and there is a full blueprint down there too on how guys are getting in better shape in their 30s, feeling happier, healthier, and stronger than they ever were in their 20s. So there's a full blueprint breakdown of exactly how to do that linked below as well. Check them both out. That was sick. I'll see you on the next one.